You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome to Inspiring Leaders. I'm Donna Chandler Newman, your host, and thank you for watching our program. Through this show, we meet community leaders and we examine how they're using their unique talents and skill sets to make a difference. And through our discussions, we hope to inspire others to discover and to share their own leadership abilities for the overall betterment of our community. Now, today's show is about an established organization with a new name. Their mission is to heal families. Their slogan is Peace Begins Here, and their new name is Kindred Place. I'm hoping by the end of our show you'll further understand and appreciate the profound difference they make in our community, and that you'll easily remember and support Kindred Place. Now, in this first portion of our show, we'll meet Jennifer Balick, Executive Director of Kindred Place, along with Bob McBride, Treasurer of their Board of Directors. And in the second segment of our show, Jennifer and I will be joined by Luke Yancey, President of the Board of Directors for Kindred Place. Joining us now, Jennifer, and I'm saying your name wrong, but it's Balick, Executive Director of Kindred Place, along with Bob McBride, Treasurer of their Board of Directors. Welcome so much. Jennifer, I am butchering your name. Tell me again what it is.
It's a Dutch name. It's Balick, and it's hard to pronounce.
No, it's just, I've just blocked it some kind of way. Balick. I will do it correctly now, okay? Thank you very much. Well, listen, thank you so much for being with us today, and Bob, thank you as well. Jennifer, let's start with you. You've been here before. Same organization, same mission, different name. Tell me about how long you've been involved with Kindred Place and a little about your history.
Well, first, it's nice to see you again. Thank you for having us back. I have been with Kindred Place for 3.5 years now, and when I started it was the Exchange Club Family Center, which I know we're going to talk about, and in the last 3.5 years, or in the time since you and I were together, many things have changed and many have not. So my background is working in government, nonprofits, community organizations, communications, and I've gotten to do a little bit of all of that in the last 3.5 years as we've moved forward into new territory. It's exciting.
It is exciting, and you know, when you were here before, you kind of alluded to a little bit of change coming forward, and I'm just delighted that you're now able to share with us exactly what's the same and what's different. So let's meet Bob first, though. Bob, you are the president of State Systems, Inc., which does fire protection and other kinds of security and technology for commercial clients?
That is correct.
Yeah, so this obviously is a volunteer position for you, and thank you for supporting Kindred Place. Tell me how you became involved and how long you've been involved with Kindred Place.
Well, Kindred Place started in 1984 as the Exchange Club Family Center. At that time, I'd been a member of the Exchange, the Nankana Exchange Club, as it was called, about a year earlier. And the exchange clubs nationally adopted child abuse prevention as our national philanthropy, and they rolled out in different cities. They want to establish child abuse prevention centers. So being a member of the Exchange Club, we always supported the Exchange Club Family Center and now Kindred Place. So I've been involved with them since 1984, since the very beginning.
Oh my gosh.
I've served on the board at different times, coming and going, but currently a member and enjoy that opportunity.
You know, you have a lot of places to put your time and talent and treasure. Why Kindred Place?
Well, first it was more of a responsibility or a duty, I guess, because as a member of the Exchange Club, we supported the Exchange Club Family Center, and so we did it for that reason. Now, obviously, as the years have gone on, we can make individual choices of what we want to do, and I've come to really love and appreciate the organization. I've seen the changes that it makes in people's lives. While it's not one of those purposes you can really broadcast throughout the world and have a poster child for abuse, it is something that is, those of us that serve closely to it, as we hear the stories, the changes that take place in individuals' lives, why wouldn't you want to help individuals change so that these children can live in a better world tomorrow?
That is absolutely true. I can certainly see that. Well, all of what you've just described takes place or is a part of the change, and that's the elephant in the room. You've changed your name to Kindred Place. Explain to me why and what it means. What's different about that, and what's the same?
Well, let's start with what's the same. And Bob said it. The origin of our work is to prevent child abuse, and we have done that from the very beginning in a way that has always made sense, which is to help parents. And so if you want to protect children and ensure that children grow up in loving and nurturing homes, the best way to do that is to help the adults who are responsible for caring for them know how to support them and nurture them. And our very first programs were working with parents. We continue to work with parents. So that has not changed and won't change. That idea is the idea that keeps us together. As Bob mentioned, National Exchange in the early 80s adopted child abuse prevention as its signature cause. And so there are exchange clubs all over the country that help raise money to prevent child abuse in their local communities. Many of those organizations were all separate. We all have we're incorporated separately, have different names, different boards, different cities. Most of them have different names as well. Our shorthand name was the Exchange Club, and people were confused sometimes about the Exchange Club, which is a service organization, and the Family Center. And so in that research and talking to people, we wanted to make sure that it was clear.
Correct.
Yeah, so Kindred Place is a far better fit, isn't it, Bob?
It really is, and it signifies what we do. Now, once you get out beyond those that use it regularly and the referral sources, most people, for the first time, don't really understand what the Exchange Club Family Center is or what Kindred Place is. So that rebranding gives us an opportunity to explain what Kindred Place is, but how it fits. And so Kindred Place is just a softer name, and it's a feel that you can really explain when people come. We want to bring the families together. It's a place of healing where those that come will be healed from the years of abuse or neglect or those traumatic situations that have occurred in their lives.
You know, you spoke a second ago about referrals. How do your clients find you? How do you come upon them?
Some self-refer, so people do call us and ask to see a therapist or to join one of our classes. Most of our clients come through referral, through school counselors, attorneys, and the courts. When families are going through challenging times, sometimes they want to do that in private because they don't really want to talk about what's happening inside their home until it reaches a place that they have to. Something comes up at school, something comes up at work, and so we accept referrals often from other people who've gotten involved with the families.
I see. So now they just are coming to a different name, but mission is absolutely the same.
The same place. And so as our counselors say, it's always been a kindred place. It has always been a place where you learn to feel kindred with the people you live with, and that includes your neighbors and your friends and your family.
So talk about some of the ways that you do this. I know you have like 3 separate areas that you look at to concentrate on. Tell me about some of that.
All of our work is counseling work, and so we have a team of 14 counselors who are on staff who provide individual counseling, family counseling. We have a marriage therapist. We have, so all the things that you think of in counseling centers we provide. We also have classes for parenting young children, for parenting teenage children, and we have anger management programs that we call a life skill to learn to use and express anger in appropriate and healthy ways. So between the classes and the individual therapies, we have pretty much if your family is struggling in some way, we have something that can help you, all the way from individual counseling to a class. We have, one of the things we're most known for is a group therapy that we have for survivors of domestic violence and children who've witnessed violence. So when we started in the early 80s, we used different words from what we use now. One form of child abuse is witnessing violence in your home. And so that is something that we continue to help heal.
At one point you told me about a cycle of violence. Talk about that a minute.
What we know from research is that children who grow up in violent homes, who witness violence, experience violence, are more likely to keep that cycle going in the next generation, either to be victims of violence or to be perpetrators of violence. And so by working with the whole family, the children and the adults, to break that cycle of abuse and neglect, we hope to heal the generations to come.
You know, the interesting thing about that, when you talk about families having witnessed or having some sort of disruption in their home, that's not limited to the usual people you think are coming to nonprofits. That's pretty pervasive, isn't it?
It is. You want to?
Oh, it certainly is. And so, you know, I know several people personally who are in my sphere of influence that are dealing with those situations even today. Mm-hmm. And so you see how that affects their family, their children, the personal relationships they have. And so you want so badly just to go out and fix the problem. You wish you had the magic wand that you could wave and everything's going to be okay, but it unfortunately takes time. But once you're in the right situation, you have the right therapist, the counselors there, you're in a place of healing, it goes much better.
But it knows, that's kind of interesting. It's not violence per se, it's some sort of something that needs to be healed, right?
Psychological abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse. If conflict is what defines your family, and every evening devolves into anger, you can't even come to the dinner table together, mm-hmm. That you are fighting, then talk therapy can help with that.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that too. You guys are shifting a little focus there too, aren't you? Aren't you also looking to be kind of an intake sort of center?
Well, I would say it a little bit differently, which is something that's that dawned on us, that you'd think we could have thought of a little more readily. Anyone can come to Kindred Place, and we hope that anyone who is looking for counseling, for a counselor, for family counseling, for help with their family, would know to come to us for that. If you are looking for a counselor or a marriage therapist, a family therapist, we have very good ones. I would say we have the very best ones that we have worked with over time and have stayed with us and who've done this work, and we'd see anybody.
I think that's really good to open that up a little bit and to make that known. I think you've probably always done that. You just haven't framed yourself that way.
That's correct. We haven't talked about it that way.
Well, I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you're opening it up too. So will you stay with us a few more minutes then,
I'd be delighted
Jennifer?
to.
Thank you very much. And Bob, thanks so much for being with us today. Thank you for all the work you've done for Kindred Place and even beyond and before that. So thank you so much.
Good to be here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Now we're going to pause now for a short break, and when we return, Jennifer and I will be joined by Luke Yancey, President of the Board of Directors for Kindred Place.
We see the potential in every single student.
That sounds like a confession to me.
I love watching these kids as they start as freshmen in high school and watching them mature and grow.
At last, my right home is complete again!
The theater program at GHS, it's something special.
Is very intensive, it's very interactive.
When a student starts here their freshman year, they start with Introduction to Theater. And after that year, they have a choice to either go into acting or technical theater. And then after that, they join our production workshop class. It's the class that is completely run by students.
The students do mostly everything. We build the sets, we do lighting, we make the costumes, we do the shows.
It's very fun. I mean, everybody's very supportive of each other.
Now we're all in this together.
It's taught me so much about how to act and how to have a stage presence.
Not only are we teaching the students the skills that they need to be a great performer or a great stage manager or a wonderful lighting designer, we're teaching them skills that they're going to be able to apply to whatever they do in their life.
You guys are fabulous!
This department not only makes wonderful theater, but more importantly, this department makes wonderful people.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV. a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back. We're pleased to continue talking with Jennifer Ballack, Executive Director of Kindred Place, and to meet Luke Yancey, President of their Board of Directors, as we continue learning more about the exceptional work of Kindred Place. Well, I didn't butcher your name that time, did I?
Did great.
Well, thank you. Now, Luke, I've not butchered your name at all. I'm so glad you're with us, and you're the President of the Board of Directors. But this isn't a job. This is also a volunteer position for you. Aren't you Senior Vice President at Iberia Bank for commercial?
I am. I've been in banking for a little over 20 years, and that's my day job. And working with Jennifer at Kindred is really more of a passion.
That's good. And you know what? That's a really great way to say it too. So why Kindred Place? Because I don't know if I've even said this yet, but there are like 3,500 nonprofits in the area, just tons of them, and a lot of places to put your time and your talent and your money. So why Kindred Place?
So Iberia Bank, you mentioned earlier, was a sponsor for Kindred Place for several years and is still a contributor. And as an employee, we attended their galas and gave money to the organization. And that's where I actually met Bob McBride. And so Bob convinced me that Kindred was a worthwhile endeavor, and so got me involved. And so that led to me coming onto the board. It led to me being secretary, treasurer, vice president, and then ultimately chair of the board. And it is, I'm a Memphian, born and raised here in Memphis, and so our community is very important to me, and I can't think of any better way to affect our community than to heal families. Everything starts really at the family basis.
You know, it really does, doesn't it? If your family is good and has raised you properly, you become the citizen we all want and desire. But if there's any kind of disruption with that, then you know, I'm glad you guys are there to intervene. So talk about the impact. What impact is there from your services on individuals, the corporations, and the community?
You know, when we talk about impact, it's easy to want to jump to things, numbers and statistics. So I'll share a couple of statistics with you, then maybe talk more anecdotally. Here's one example. Women who live in abusive relationships have health care costs that are 42% higher than women who do not live in abusive relationships. Women who live in abusive homes have 65% of them report that they have job interruption because of their relationship, which means they have absenteeism or they lose jobs or have some sort of negative impact from what's happening at home. And so we know that what happens at home spills into schools, spills into work, spills into neighborhoods. And our approach is to help families reconcile and regulate their emotions and healthy relationships so that what comes to work and what comes to school is the ability to form healthy relationships, to learn, to grow, to contribute.
You know, Luke, then that tells me why Iberia Bank invested and other corporations invest, correct? Because do you see there's a connection between what people feel and there's a real life economic impact in there?
Well, yeah, Memphis is a city that's really an entrepreneurial city, and so all of these families that we're talking about are ultimately employees that work in the workplace. And back to Jennifer's point about health insurance and health costs, so it's a direct impact, and it reaches out exponentially. And so for us, yeah, it does start there, and it is about creating the biggest impact that we can create. And again, I just don't know where else you would start other than family to create an impact. And so it does have an economic impact. It does affect corporations. Corporations need to make sure that their employees are whole so they can deliver the best products and services to the community so that they can deliver the best value to their shareholders. And so it's a circle, and it all starts with healthy employees and a healthy community.
Which starts with healthy families.
Healthy families.
Yeah, that's exactly. So that explains an awful lot about why your organization is so completely needed. You know, we were talking earlier about that abuse in any form, that all the many forms that you just named, doesn't have demographic boundaries, if you will, at all. So you guys are kind of rippling out away from just, I mean, now if I came in there right now, you would charge me a rate, I would hope, that as I would pay at private counseling. Is that correct?
Our counseling rates are equivalent to what you would pay for a counselor if your family income supports being able to pay for counseling. So we have a client assistance fund due to the generosity of companies and individuals and foundations. We can provide financial assistance for people who don't have the ability to pay for counseling services. We don't want money to be a barrier for anybody. I'll tell you a short story that you asked about earlier. I'll make it really short, but I have a good friend, somebody I've known for a long time, who learned, and I'm allowed to share this story, who learned that an in-law had been living in abuse for many, many years in an abusive home. And that story was disclosed one day at the end of a car ride and had never been told before. And the friend called me to say, is this something, could we come see you? Is this something you do? I always thought this happened to other people. And so it is unfortunately everywhere, but fortunately there's help available for everybody.
And the comforting part for me and for your friend would be if you have those 14 therapists that are so completely skilled at what they do and you've chosen them well, that access to them, to me, would be extremely important. Instead of just a general counselor who, not to put that down, but who may do many kinds of things. But if I know that I need family therapy, you are a great place to start, correct?
Because that's all that they do is family dynamics, family relationships. We also have 3 bilingual counselors who are able to serve Spanish-speaking clients, which is also a need.
And a growing need in Memphis,
a growing
too.
Need, correct.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So talk to me now. To do that, you must need a lot of money in order to have all those counselors, etc. Tell me about how you raise your money.
Sure. So we've got a couple of sources that we've already talked about, which is corporate donations, foundational donations, private donations. We have local and state grants, and we also have some federal funding as well. As you mentioned, we've got clients that pay privately, and so the mix of both of those allows us to serve those that can afford, but it also allows us not to turn away those that can't. And I think that's how you really deliver services to the greater community, by being able to serve everyone.
To serve a mix of it like that, that's really good. You also have several special events. I know the Exchange Club supports you still. Tell me about the other events that you have.
Well, the Tee-Off Against Child Abuse is the Greater Memphis Exchange Club's tournament, so we're very thankful for that support. The Germantown Charity Horse Show, we're the charity beneficiary there. That's in June. It's a wonderful event, as you know.
I do.
And we are very grateful for that partnership. And we have an annual event called the Kindred Table, which is a meal in which we share kindred. We break bread together at tables and also talk about how to support our work. So all those things together help make care available to everybody.
Now, Kindred Table, it's got to be a new name because you haven't been named Kindred Place very long.
Correct.
So when is that? Is that in the winter, spring, summer?
It will be in the spring. We had our first event last year at the Bobby Lanier Farms Park here in Germantown, which is a wonderful event. We had about 100 people out for a dinner and are looking at dates for that in the spring. Again, we haven't picked a final date yet. We're trying to make sure that we have the best evening possible, but it will be in the spring. And there'll be more information on our website.
Now, okay, so I don't typically go to the Kindred Place website. Yeah. So how do I get signed up so that I get this information?
Well, you can sign up to receive emails from us. If you go to our website, we'll encourage you to do that. Share your email address. I promise we won't send you, we won't overload your inbox, but give you news and updates and things that can connect you to us, and you'll be the first to know about our events.
So, thinking about what you do, if I know about you and completely think highly of Kindred Place, what can I do to help?
There are 2 things that you could do to help. And one would be to tell everyone you know, just like we're doing here today, that we are available as a counseling center for anyone who is looking for counseling and talk therapy, help with their family or classes. So the more we spread the word, the more people know, the better. And the second is to encourage people to support us financially. If you, and we are fortunate enough to have healthy family relationships and to honor those by making sure that anyone who needs help with their family can access that help by supporting our work with a gift. We're grateful for those.
I bet you are, really. And as president of the board, that's a big piece of your responsibility to ensure you have enough funds to go forward, right?
Jennifer would tell you that that's my primary responsibility.
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah, and I'd say it's that, and it's also just what we're doing today, elevating our visibility and letting folks know what we do every opportunity that we can.
You know, occasionally we all hear stories of troubles in families, so the first thing you would want us to think of would be Kindred Place, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes. And so refer them over. How would they find you exactly?
The easiest place to find us is online, and that is at our website. You mentioned it earlier. It's kindred-place.org. So that's a dash in between the two words, kindred-place.org, or to call our main number, which I'm happy to share with you now.
Please do.
901-276-2200.
Okay, that's an easy number too.
It is.
Okay, good. And you do have a physical location?
2180 Union Avenue. We're across the street from the Fresh Market in Midtown, next door to Playhouse on the Square.
Okay, good. You know, you guys really provide a valuable service for the community. And I'm so grateful that you give back the way that you do. If you had to choose, this would be your number one choice of nonprofits to work with, and I'm sure it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm the board chair.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people competing for Luke's time and talent and attention, and we're really grateful he's picked us.
I was thinking the same thing. I know when I spoke with him, I felt that as well. Thank you both so much. They are blessed to have you, Jennifer, may I say.
Thank you.
They really are. And they are very blessed to have you too, Luke.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you guys for being with us today, and thank you for the excellent work you do.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for being with us today for Inspiring Leaders. We appreciate our guests on today's show, Jennifer Palenk, Bob McBride, and Luke Yancey, all representing Kindred Place. If what you've heard on our program today has inspired you to learn more, to become involved, and to donate to Kindred Place, please visit their website, kindred-place.org. That's Kindred Place with a dash between it, .org. If you're interested in the air dates of Inspiring Leaders or of any other show on our television station, you can visit GHS-TV.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can keep up with GHS-TV by visiting our website. We hope you'll like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you again for joining us, and be sure and watch our show, Inspiring Leaders, again next month.